so happy to be here talking about love because that's my favorite subject. I didn't want to do a show about gossip. I didn't want to do a show about show business, but I love to talk about love. Caviar, my favorite thing. And tell me about you. Why do you love dressing up like this?
Oh, for me, it's like finding home, finding who I want to be, finding who
Tell
I
how
am.
we met.
And you were in the pool. Do you remember that? You were in the pool on a noodle, and you swim up to me, and you looked up and you said, "Can you type?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "You're hired."
And now I want to introduce my boss. It wasn't bossy. She was the creator. She was the star. She was my friend. And she is everything. Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you. I'm coming to you from your favorite restaurant, Robert.
I love Robert. I love the view. Dr. Brian Saltzman said that he added organic chicken to the menu as per my request.
I'm going to have chicken today in your honor.
Watching the view and
don't take
being
away
quite
the
a
caviar.
different.
I'm sorry. He was going to take away the caviar.
Okay, what is he, crazy?
What are you, crazy? It's squash
puree?
soup. Puree of
let's
squash. What is it in?
It's amaranth.
It's what?
Amaranth.
Amaranth? What is that?
And it's a dry apple.
Meanwhile, he's standing right in front of the camera.
Oh, you're standing in front of the camera.
Standing in front of the camera.
I love Robert Restaurant, my favorite restaurant. My show is about love, and I wanted to ask you. You may not want to share this with everybody, but you have shared it with me. Who is the love of your life presently?
Well, the love of my life is Peter Jacobson, my gay ex-husband and writing, producing partner and best friend and soulmate. I also have a rescue. Oh, wait, I think I just, hey, Angel, come here. Can you see her? There she is.
Yes.
See, she's got one blue eye and one brown eye.
Wow.
See?
Wow.
I'm gonna give her, yeah. So I, in the middle of the night, I was so sad that my other dog suddenly died of a stroke, February. And in the middle of the night, I was so grief-stricken that I prayed to God to please get me out of this terrible pain that I was in. And for whatever reason, I turned on my computer, which I never do. I rarely use the computer because the phone does everything. So I started looking at Big Dog on Pet Finders that day. That was the first day she was made available to be adopted because she had actually been a runaway that was hit by a car. And the shelter picked her up on the side of the road and brought her to the shelter and immediately started calling local rescue. Don't take her, we're going to put her down.
Oh, no.
And this wonderful woman at Rock and Rescue in Woodland Hills went there to meet her. And on my way there, a girlfriend of mine called me. I didn't even really remember who she was. That you have to adopt another pet or get another dog right away. And later I found out that she was a psychic. And I said, that's so weird because I'm on my way to this rescue place right now. And she said, I have a really good feeling about it. So casually looks to my left, and there at a bus stop kiosk was this poster that said adopt a pet. So now there were two signs that I was on the right path. And I live by the signs that the universe presents to me. You are so good, and you're always so good. When a stranger tells you something you need to hear, that's an angel.
Oh,
And so I have to say that we are gently being nudged along in our lives by the universe, by our guides, by our God. And
absolutely.
it's all about the love and it's just being open to it and allowing it in, keeping me company and us gradually bonding into a very, very meaningful relationship that I'm extremely grateful for.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you. Now, back to our show.
You know, people don't realize how up on everything you are, how amazing you are in terms of your spirit, your,
Oh,
openness to alternative wisdom, medicines, indigenous wisdom and ancient wisdom. And you're just a real, what I call Renaissance woman. And I don't know, should I share a little behind the scenes story about the nanny where you're concerned?
yeah, I'd love that.
So, most people don't know this, but Peter and I always wanted to have the character of Sylvia, my mother, based off of my real mom, Sylvia, to be a regular on the series because I wanted to show a relationship that was closer to my relationship with my mom, who is my best friend, and not the usual antagonistic relationships that you would normally see. We wanted to write something that was close to the real thing. And we put the character of Sylvia in the pilot, but the network said, well, if this is going to be a regular character, then we need to be very involved in the casting of it. And they wanted Sheila McRae.
But wasn't Sheila McRae Episcopalian?
So we told the network, no, it's just the character that's going to be in the pilot. No big deal. So then they let us just get who we wanted, which of course was you, our first choice.
Aw.
And in our minds, we kept thinking, okay, and I think I told you this back then, because we kept writing you in as, another guest, another guest role. And you had to get them and the audience to acknowledge how great we knew you would be in this part so that they would be begging to sign you rather than us having to convince you. We conspired to manipulate the powers that be. And that was how it all came to be. Because sometimes you got to know your customer and you got to protect them from themselves.
I love you, Fran. Thank you so much. I'm a love addict. I never get enough love, and too much is not enough. It's a picture of my husband, who I met. We were married for 52 years, and the moment that I saw him, I couldn't breathe. And I wrote a song about him that we put in Love Is All There Is. Couldn't breathe. I couldn't run away, nor move or speak, play hide and seek with love. I saw your face, the face of love, an angel. You are love, and love, it's real, it's really all there is. And that's how it was with him and me for 52 years. And it continues He's here today. He's sitting right over there. I don't know if you can see him, but I can. I want to introduce a wonderful entertainer, Chris Tanner.
So honored to be here with you, Renee.
I'm so honored to be with you. I love what you're wearing. Looks like it's an Armani. It's gorgeous. What size is it? You made a video of singing to cows that I couldn't stop crying. You're addicted to cows or everything?
Well, I'm addicted to love too.
Caviar.
Oh,
Could
my
I have some
goodness.
caviar to go with my champagne?
2, please.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Dr. Fauci said that you can't share.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm sorry. The bartender for 52 years at Stonewall, and here he is now, 3. An exciting day when you put me on the float.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
So what was that like that night?
Well, I was in there dancing with my friends, doing the Lindy. It was a raid because we heard this drag queen gypsy go, "Leave me alone, my husband's a cop." But he says, "Was I afraid?" I go, "No, I was having fun. I was always a good boy. Here I am throwing rocks and bottles at police cars, and I was having the time of my life."
But that started the whole
That
liberation.
started the liberation. But a lot of us saw cameras and were afraid because our parents had no idea I was gay yet.
Oh, my God.
So we had
The gay pride parade was really, in New York.
I only missed 2. And one was raining, and this is one tree that doesn't like rain.
Oh.
And the second time I was in Brazil, and they asked me to come back. I said, "No, I'm too busy having sex."
I remember that. I remember sex. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I would offer you some, but I only have 1 fork.
That's okay. I brought my own.
Oh, okay. Anyway, goodbye. Thank you so much.
I love you so much.
If he wasn't happily married and I hadn't been happily married, I would have run away with him if he would have asked me. Here's a picture of him and me. And you're such a loving person. I want to ask you how you got to be so loving.
How did I get to be so? Well, first of all, hi, my darling. It's so good to see you. And if we weren't happily married, we'd be happily married, right? Happily married now for 38 years. Not quite up to what you and Joe had, but it just gets better with time. It just gets better and better, like a good wine. Susan and I met back in England in like 1979. I think we first met, 1980. And we got married in 1983 over here at a sort of bizarre, like Robert Altman type wedding. We spent our honeymoon in downtown LA changing a tire on a car that someone had borrowed for the wedding and abandoned.
What was it about her that you fell in love with Susan? What was it about her?
You know, everything. She was so, we were like little pimply white, pale London drama school kids. And in walked this bronzed California ballet dancer actress. And she was so exotic and so unlike anything any of us had ever seen. No one could pluck up courage to ask her out. One day I did. I kind of sheepishly asked her if she'd like to go get a drink, and we did. And she was just so straightforward. There were no sides to her. There's no sides to Susan. She's very honest and has enormous integrity and great wisdom. This is the two of us when we were at drama school.
Oh, you didn't tell me, Charlie, how you turned out to be a loving man like you are, because Rex Harrison, who played in My Fair Lady, was so mean. And you know what he once did? He once said he was married to the most beautiful woman in the world, Lily Palmer. And he said, "I want to divorce you and marry Kate Kendall, but she's dying. And I promise you, when she dies, I'll come back to you." That's the kind of guy he was.
He was a dreadful guy. I know. There's been books written, since, and he was not quite the sort of charming, sexy Rexy that we all thought. But I think I was very well brought up, and Susie, it's like when you've got someone with so much love in your life, it's sort of you kind of absorb. It's like osmosis. So I sort of we blossomed together, really. Made me chuckle. Good trouble, that is.
Tell me about you being a lord. We had two queens on the show, but now to have a lord.
Well, what happened is my great-grandfather was president of the Canadian Pacific Railroad, and he was made a lord in 1916 by the king, and the King of England, and it bounced around the Canadian side of the family. And then about 12 years ago, it came over to the American side because, or the English side, because there were no other male heirs. I was the oldest male heir. And suddenly I woke up one morning and I was Lord Shaughnessy.
Oh my God.
All I got was a moldy robe. There's no castle, there's no family fortune, there's no buried treasure, there aren't even any retainers. I thought at least I'd get 3 or 4 people with big S's on a kind of...
But do you have a crest? Do you have a crest?
I do have a crest. Manu Forti, with a strong hand, is our family motto. And there's a crest with an Irish wolfhound on one side and a Canadian beaver on the other.
Oh my gosh! And do you know Prince Harry? Because I'd like to get him on the show.
I don't know.
Meghan, because she's on everything.
My grandparents were very good friends of the royal family, because my grandfather was an equerry to the king. He actually sort of was a sort of personal secretary to the king. So here's an interesting picture. That's my grandmother and grandfather at the back, and that's the King of England in the front with the dog.
Wow! Oh, that's something.
That's Joey on the far side, and then Sarah in the middle is my grandmother, and then right in front of Sarah is the King, George. That's Edward VIII, and then to his right is George VI.
Wow!
Little family photo. I'm this close to royalty.
Wow. Well, I go to the dog shows, and the American Kennel Club.
They bark a lot.
You have a dog.
Yes. The other love of my life, apart from my wife and my children, the other love of my life is this very noble creature.
Oh, very noble. Could I ask you to tell a very sad story or not? But I remember when we were on The Nanny, you had a business manager who stole all of your money.
Yes, well, it's a sort of slightly cliched Hollywood story. The thing about it is, it's not a sad story. It's actually a really inspiring story, because we all have, we can all have things go wrong in life. Some of them are really tragic. This was not tragic. I didn't lose a family member, and it was hard times. But we've just been through very hard times for the last year. Us, not as much as some. And you learn to adapt, and you discover in adapting how strong you are, how strong your family is and the people around you, and how much you support each other and how important that is. And you kind of rise again through your love and support and skill and dedication and optimism and courage. And it was actually a great lesson in how some of the things you think are the most important things in life just aren't. I'm sure he would agree that it doesn't do you any good to hold on to those things. It just sits there like a canker, and forgiveness frees you as much as it frees the person that you're forgiving to get on with life. It's a beautiful life, love of life is, I think, my first love. If you say what my first love is, the love of my life is love of life and wife.
Oh. Well, I love you. I will always love you. And if you ever are free, so am I. Anyway, I love you, Charlie. Thank you so much.
I love you, Renee. I love you, my sweetie. And this is such a fun show. Congratulations on your show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. A fan sent this to me. I'm going to take it home and also ask the waiter if he can cork put the bottle in so I could have that. And the bread and butter. If you come to Robert and you call and you make a reservation and you mention my name, maybe they'll give you this table. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Renee. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. I'm 88, but don't tell anybody, my career will be over. Anyway, I think our time is up, and I just wanted to, I hardly drank my champagne. They're not going to be happy with me. And here I am. Here I am, Lord. Bye.